think I'm half deaf from listening to all of that. But that's all in a good way because it's Slipknot. I'm sure most of you do not need an introduction to Slipknot. They are easily one of the most aggressive and influential metal bands of the 21st century, and they had their start in the 90s, surprisingly. And their self-titled debut cemented that fact that they are metal titans, but are also some of the founding fathers of the nascent genre of nu metal, alongside other early nu metal bands like Korn and Limp Bizkit. And off the bat, like from the push of play on this album, you can tell that the dark, edgy, and scary aesthetic the band takes on is really justified by the instrumentation and the vocals. Drummer Joey Jordison, in particular, is an absolute unit on the drums. And the double kick drumming we mostly see in death metal, he applies in songs like the opener Sick or the following track Eyeless. Like the way he destroys the snares, and as I mentioned before, the double kick drums will absolutely make your body cramp up in pain. For the most part, guitarist Mick Thompson proves himself a worthy force through songs like the intro of Surfacing or the ominous and incredible closer Scissors, which I will talk about later. DJ Sid Wilson also provides some incredible electronic effects, such as in the beginning of Spit It Out or Tattered and Torn, and in other songs he absolutely fucking shreds that turntable to pieces. But of course, the best part is Corey Taylor's vocal performances, and the way he can seamlessly transition between rapping, screaming, and occasional singing. However, some of the production and compression on this record is a little bit shoddy, since the drumming and Corey's vocals often drown out the guitars and the bass lines. And some of the lyrical content on the record gets really repetitive across the track list. Like, when we get to the 10th track, we've seen the same thing many times up until this point, where Slipknot tries to get the listener's attention through mere shock value and inserting as many swears as possible in the lyrics. However, I will not deny the fact that I found most of the songs on this album incredibly enjoyable. And if you take them out of the context of a full album where there's 15 tracks of this blend of many genres such as death, thrash, and industrial metal, the songs are absolute headbangers front to back. And with how enjoyable the first three opening tracks, Sick, Eyeless, and the iconic Wait and Bleed, in the grand scheme of this record, I don't think Slipknot is ever going to lose its good graces. Despite my issues with the production, the guitar riffs on this album and the production making it pop out all the more in the opening of most of these songs really redeem it. Especially with the dark ambient component that is seen in the opening instrumental track and Frail Limb Nursery, and the track Mudslide, which I only heard in the CD pressing of this album, since I do have the CD pressing, let's go! Which precedes the final hidden track, Eeyore, and is composed of audio of the band members watching a film of someone eating shit. And whilst I didn't really enjoy much of the lyrics, I did really enjoy Purity, which is a song about being buried alive and exploring the depths of human depravity. Nice. But yeah, I've been stalling. I want to talk about Scissors, which is, in fact, one of the most nerve-wracking conclusions I've ever heard. It is a long and brutal 8-minute track with yet again some amazing sound sampling and mixing from the part of Sid, alongside brutal death metal lyrics and Corey Taylor descending into moaning and groaning towards the end of the track. And this incredibly noisy atmosphere is broken by, yet again, Joey's incredible drumming. Holy shit, he's too good for this record! Massive condolences to Joey Jordison. He was an absolute legend in the drums, and I really appreciate him for his work on his band. But yeah, this album is a really noisy and sludgy ride, with some of the heaviest percussion I've ever seen, and an incredible amount of influence on bands like Sleep Token and Bring Me the Horizon, albums like Death Heaven's Sunbather, and genres like extreme metal and deathcore. And this is officially my 10th review. Nice! So yeah, overall, this is a really great record that laid the blueprint for Slipknot's formula and success in future records such as Iowa, some great Ross Robinson production, and some sometimes shitty, sometimes incredible songwriting that can still shine through to display great rap verses and poetic lines of self-hatred, depression, and sometimes the depths of humanity's cruelty. I love this album to death. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.